Hi, this is Jenny Williams, and welcome to 60 Minutes to Six Figures, our second Monday Google Hangout every single month, where we love to visit with you and share with you real resources and techniques that you can easily implement into your business to create a multi-six-figure year. So first I want to, of course, welcome Matt. Matt,
How's
are
it
you
going?
there? All I see is the round Get a Real Estate Life circle.
Okay. Internet might be running a little slow. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you
All
great.
right. So for anybody that's listening to us live, we're just waiting for a few people to join us and watch us live here on Google Hangouts. If you're watching on the Google Plus page, you can actually submit questions. Just type them in as a comment. I'll be able to see them, and I'll bring them to Jenny and our special guest during the Hangout. And then if you're watching this replay on YouTube, just go ahead and hit subscribe so you get all of Jenny's future videos as well as the future installments of the 60 Minutes to Six Figures, so you can keep up on that.
Okay, so watching the logo in large while Matt is speaking reminds me of Charlie Brown for some reason.
Wah, 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 wah. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I want to thank you for joining us today because we have a really big topic. As a real estate coach, I'm constantly asked about how to go and get listings. And there's so many resources that are available for agents to go out and to build their listing inventory. And once you get your inventory up to a certain mark, like maybe 15 or 20, then everything becomes a lot easier. In fact, once you get to that 20 and you kind of keep 20 at all times, I always say the magic happens after 30, and they start coming to you a lot easier because people are seeing your signs, they're recognizing you as an expert in your market, and life is just a lot easier. You don't have to compete a lot of times for listing, and people just automatically trust you because they're used to seeing your sign and your name everywhere. So if you are sitting there with two listings and they're both overpriced and you're thinking, how am I going to get some more inventory? You're in the right place today. So I'm going to start with a couple of resources and ways that our clients are winning with listings. And then I'm going to introduce you to somebody that you have got to meet because he's definitely an expert knowledge in this field and is going to provide some additional information that's going to help you as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is, where's the easiest place for you to go and find listing leads? And of course, you're going to hate me for saying this, but it's with the people you already know. It's your sphere of influence. Being able to reach out to your sphere of influence and letting them know who your ideal client is really important. Because they need to be out there being foot soldiers in your business, looking for ways to help you every day. If you'll hang on just a minute, there's a lot of noise going on at this office. I need to close the door. Y'all, I'm alone. Okay, I'm sorry, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to hear. I was only able to hear a bunch of conversations out in the hall. So, all right, so go into your sphere of influence, and how many do you really need to have in your sphere of influence in order to be able to pull a lot of gold out of it? You need at least 150. 150 people that know that you're looking for inventory, know that you're looking and are able and capable and credible of helping sellers get their houses sold in a small amount of time. That's huge these days. People may want to refer you, but at the same time, they need to be able to trust you and know. So it's your job and your duty in your business to really educate people in your sphere of influence that you are worthy of that referral, that you're credible, that you know how to get property sold, and you do that through sharing testimonials, sharing your process, You can't be a secret agent, and you can't just think just because they know you're an agent that people are going to send you business. You need to make sure that you stay in touch with them continuously and letting them know that you're having success in the market, and what other people are having to say about the services that you provide. So that, of course, is the very first place to start. And I always suggest that our clients reach out to their sphere of influence at least 3 times a month. And really, I don't think that you could hit them up too much. As long as you're making it all about you, they might not want to hear from you. If you make it more about the client in a nice way, then, or about your friends and your sphere of influence, then they're going to be happy to hear from you. And one can be a passive thing. One could be an email, and the other two be kind of more direct and in your face, like a phone call. But when you're sending out mail that gets straight to them at their house, then they're going to stop and look at it because it came from you. And there's so many different ways that you can reach out to people that are efficient, right, Matt?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we're going to talk about a few of them today, so that'll be fun.
Good. I still can't see you, but
I know. Well, I don't know what the deal is.
Okay, so now that we've gotten sphere of influence and know that that's really your best way, the next thing to do is to go straight to the neighborhood you want to work, or your niche market. If you want to work in luxury listings, then figure out which neighborhoods you want to attack and go straight there. You want to meet the people in that community. You want to find the connectors. You want to know who has more influence in that community. And you want to send information, create events. You'll have it in no time. I had one of my clients, and I know that if you've watched several of our Google Hangouts and our online trainings, then you've heard me talk about one of our clients who came to me a couple years ago and said, I want to be number one in my own neighborhood. And he is, for sure. It took us 18 months to get there.
Right.
And we did that through direct mail. We did that through really meeting and connecting with the other property owners in that neighborhood. And we also did that through events just for the neighborhood. And when I say events, what I mean is he rented out a movie theater and invited the whole neighborhood to come to see the Minions.
That's a great idea.
Isn't that a great idea? I know it is, isn't it? And and got the sweetest emails. I mean, from 5- and 6-year-old kids saying, "Please save my mom a seat at this movie."
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and he got so much from it because the invites went out, right? So that's a touch, and he's not selling anything. It's an invitation, so that went out. They're happy to receive that. He received numerous emails, so now he's building his online list. The people showed up. He hired a photographer. He was able to get everyone that came registered, and I believe he had 160 people, something around that many people. And then he shared the Dropbox with all the photos and the kids enjoying the movie to the parents back through email. So that was another touch. And then we created a mail piece for him that went back out to the neighborhood that said, "Thank you, and let's do it again soon." Just a great way to connect with the people that live, because it can't always be promo sell, promo sell. It's got to have, you have to build relationships with the people there, and they have to know that you're the right person. So we send out a lot of direct mail pieces that talk about, what's just been sold, and it fits his personality. He's got a very aggressive personality, and he sends that out, and people love to see, wow, you're really selling a lot of stuff in here. We hired a cupcake truck last President's Day, and I know this sounds ridiculous, right? Like, what's the number one way to get listings? Hire a cupcake truck.
Sign me up.
Yeah. It cost him about $305, something like that. But the kids were out of school that day, and he said, "Meet me in the park and free cupcakes for the kids." And he gave away almost 180, I think it was 171, 172 cupcakes, cost $305. He took 4 listings that were over $400,000 that week, um, all based on that event. Because they came out, you got to get the free cupcake, but to see who the person was behind the promo.
Right, right.
And once you
Incredible.
make that connection, I felt like, it's genius. So he got a lot of emails that said, we were just so happy to meet you, so thankful for what you did to the community. We've been thinking about signing for a long time. Can you come over this week? Yes, I can. I can make that happen. So,
Yeah.
that's really the next one. Going straight to where you want your sign and, the area that you want to work.
Yeah.
Um, when
Yeah, and we were just talking about this before we went live, Jenny, that that's like for Jeff Cohn's team, 30 agents, they tracked everything last year. That's their two biggest lead sources, essentially, is their own sphere, the individual agent's sphere of influence, and then circle prospecting in specific neighborhoods.
So around where they have listings.
Exactly. Yep.
So yeah, just to make sure that people know what circle prospecting is, and that's pretty much calling neighbors around certain listings, and what I love to call that is turning one listing into 3. One of the scripts that one of my agents has when he goes into, he loves to circle prospect, and what he'll say is, what I've realized is when somebody decides to put their house on the market, normally another neighbor has been, swapping conversations thinking about moving too. So then it becomes a competition of who can get their house on the market quickest. And instead of a competition, why don't we all work together? If you'll give me that person's name, I can provide more traffic because I can get more people out here to see 2 houses than I can 1.
Yep. It's a great script.
And it works for him, and you can really leverage your marketing dollars and your time, of course, and your energy when that happens. And then when you have to come out to see one client, you just visit all of them. So I didn't even think about that script, Matt. Thank you. So I know that I'm probably talking really quickly and giving you a lot of information, but it would be great if you took notes, because the reaching your sphere of influence, there are a couple of ways that you can do it, and I'm going to give you 2 different resources for that. There are way more than the resources I'm going to give you today that are available out there, but I'm hoping I'm saving you a little bit of time because I've done the research for you, and I've seen a lot of this stuff in action. One of our clients uses Happy Grasshopper, and what it does is it interviews you a lot and finds out, all the personal things about you that you like, your interest, and maybe your opinions, things that you find fun, and they send emails out to your sphere of influence based on the things that they interviewed you about, hoping that you'll strike personal interest with your sphere of influence in an email, and that will keep them informed of what's going on in your life. It really has nothing to do with real estate at all. None of the emails do. And I can't say that I'm a huge fan of it myself. But I have seen responses that have come back from my clients that do use it, and the clients themselves like it. So whatever they like is great with me. And it is auto-populated, and Happy Grasshopper takes care of all of that, and it's not very expensive. So that's one way that you can stay in touch. I like I don't want that to be your only touch is email, because I think that you can end up being such white noise and get skipped over. So you definitely, if you choose a route like that, you only want one of those to go out every month. And Matt, you know all too well what I'm going to say about the next one, and that is viral marketing. I personally have been a client in viral marketing and love what they do. I think Frank is a complete genius, and I love the systems and how they set up everything for us, because when agents are busy, they don't have time to look through, who all their Facebook friends are, where all their sphere of influence is, all the emails. They kind of go in and help you do a lot of that and set it up, and they set the graphics up for you, and then they use they send out emails through their own servers. All of those are things that are very helpful. Can you duplicate what they do? Probably not to the extent of what they do, but you can, duplicate by sending out video tips to maybe a smaller group. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, it would end up being a smaller group because there's no way you can duplicate their ability to just gather every person that you know out of all of your different sources and put them into a good email server that'll allow you to email all of them. So, but yeah, I mean, if you just want to shoot an email out to everybody that's in your Gmail or your Hotmail or whatever the case is, you can use BombBomb to record a quick video. As long as you feel comfortable and you can record a good video, you can use that service to record it, and then you send it out to everyone that's in your database that you can get your hands on. So yeah, it's there's definitely ways to duplicate elements of what they do, and there are other agents out there that do it that way just because they like BombBomb a lot, or they like recording their own videos on YouTube, whatever the case is. So yeah, you can definitely do that, but the principle is the same. Basically, you keep in touch with your database by sending them something helpful, something educational about real estate by email, and then follow up by posting that video to your social network so that people have a stream of content from you that shows that you know the market. So as opposed to Happy Grasshopper, which is very unbranded, unreal estate, it's just very personal, this would be educational information about the real estate market that actually positions you as an expert so that you build credibility and trust with the people that you know, that you're not just a nice person, you actually know what you're doing when it comes to real estate.
Well, and I love the professional aspect of it because it makes the client look really good. And all through the social networks and through email as well. So I will have to say that I am a fan of Viral and what they do for sure. It costs, somewhere between $500 and $700 a month, depending on different services and things that you want to add to your services. And then there are upgrades even from there. There is a setup fee, but that kind of gives you a whole, idea of what they do and how you can use it in their business. Before we bring our guest on, there's one other resource that I want to share with you real quickly. And that is called the Listing Grabber. And the Listing Grabber to me is an excellent tool for getting listings and owning those neighborhoods you want to own. It can be a little bit expensive, but I mean, we're in this business, right, to make money and to provide a return, and you're going to have to make commitments and expenses in order to do that. What the Listing Grabber does, and I've kind of been there, I was just sharing with Matt a little bit ago that I've been there when they were in their earlier stages, and I'm seeing how far they've grown from testing and really watching their results and making changes, and where they are today with their product and their service is so good. And it's really helped one of our clients take over a whole city. When he first came to our program, he wanted to own a certain city, and he didn't have any listings there. He sold some there, but he didn't have any listings there, and he started with Listing Grabber, and pretty much it was 12 months of crickets. It really was, and I'm the best thing about this is that I don't get paid from anybody except my clients to make a difference.
Right.
So what you hear from me is just going to be extremely transparent. I'm going to give you the good and the bad of everything that I see. And it was a lot of money invested for that first 12 months. After about the 13th month, wow, I mean, skyrocket. Listings came everywhere, and today he has over 60 listings, and he is the #1 agent in 2015 for listings sold in that city that he wanted to own. So maybe crickets for 12 months, and then it works because it's a commitment. I mean, it is a commitment. Here's the difference of what I got to witness, though, over time. Those first few months, there were only 9 postcards going out for direct mail, and it's just not enough. So they increased it to be between two, around two a month, I believe now is what they do.
Okay.
There's where the magic happens.
Mm.
The consistency had to be more. And, I hear from agents all the time, well, I sent a postcard out and I didn't get anything.
Right.
And I completely understand wanting a response from any kind of money that you spend. And I want you to be looking at that. I don't want you to be spending money just to spend money. Um, but it takes time to really win an impression over from someone. And mainly, Matt, you know this because not everybody's looking to move every day.
Mm.
Uh, when somebody comes into your world today that may be interested in selling, they may not sell for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because
Very
the
true.
thought of moving is terrifying.
Well, yeah, and it takes something like between 8 and 10 impressions just to get somebody to remember your name or your brand name, whatever that is. And so it just, like you said, the frequency wasn't there. So basically that was less than one a month, essentially 9 postcards over the course of a year. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, so less than one a month. I mean, yeah, let's say that one spouse gets one postcard and then the next spouse happens to pick up the postcard you send the next month. That person may not see your name again for 60 days until they send the next postcard and their spouse doesn't grab the mail first. So I mean, it's just not enough to get that name recognition that will lead to them thinking, oh, I'm thinking about selling my house, I should call X.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So the frequency has to be a lot more in order to win that over. Now, what we did is we went in and supplemented a lot of 8.5 by 11 just sold every door directs. And I think that got the recognition up a lot and got to see in action kind of what they're doing. But then all the signs started coming out, and then it was like an overnight explosion that
Yeah.
took 12 months.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it is, though. Like some of the things that work the best take the longest to mature.
Right, and then you've got a huge return on investment.
Yeah.
Um, so now, of course, that client wants to add a lot of different areas, and I'm all for it. We have 5 or 6 clients out of 90 or so that use the listing grabber, and they all see really good results. So I feel like it is an excellent tool for people to use. Now, we do a lot of direct mail for our clients as well, and we can do it for less. Um, the results are probably a little bit stronger and faster through listing grabber, but we kind of customize based on the agent's branding and what kind of message that the agent wants to send. But and we definitely love to do that for our clients as well. So as I was going through and doing a lot of these research on different resources for being able to get listings, that's when I ran across Christopher at BoldLeads, which I feel what they're doing is very today. It's modern. It is innovative, and as he and I were discussing it, it works. And so I always want to share information that works. Another great thing about Christopher is that Christopher worked at Zillow. He worked at Trulia. He's worked for Market Leader, and he works for BoldLeads. He knows about how to like what works in finding listing leads and converting listing leads. So Christopher, if you're there, please welcome to the Google Hangout.
Thank you so much for having me. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you excellent, and I can't see you. I can only see your photo, but you have to have the photo.
How's that now? Does that work? You can see me now?
Yeah, I can. Hey.
I'm excited about real estate.
Yes, you are. Thanks so much for joining us today. And, whenever you told me about your experience, I was like, what are you doing Monday? Just because I knew that just what you were sharing with me, what a tremendous resource that you are to people. So thank you. Based on your years of experience watching agents going and going after listings and trying to produce listing leads, what would you say is the number one thing that agents need to be concerned with?
Well, when you're approaching listings, it all depends on the approach itself. I guess the biggest thing you have to be concerned about is how you approach the prospect when you're initially in that first conversation with them. And I guess to touch on that a little bit is when a lot of people, and I'm speaking to the online lead generation world. Obviously, it's different if you've met someone in a restaurant or you knocked on the door and you were face to face. But when you're dealing with online leads, a lot of real estate agents take the wrong approach, and they'll pick up the phone and they'll call that lead once they get it, and they're wanting to full speed. Hey, I'm your agent. I can sell your house fast. Get me in the door. I want to be in your living room. Let's do a listing presentation. And that's the exact opposite route that an agent should take, because what they're doing is they're shooting themselves in the foot, and they're burning through leads that are good leads that may be wanting to list their home 1 month, 6 months, 12 months down the road. But that initial approach is really catching the lead off guard. Like, whoa, who is this person calling?
Okay, so that's good to know. Kind of let people take their own time, because I would say that people want the information first, and that is probably an approximate home value, or maybe what's going on in the market right now. We're all terrified of salespeople. And probably the thing that scares us the most is that we might be wasting someone's time. Although agents may not feel that way, we feel like we're not quite ready. We're just putting our toe in the water, right, to find out these first little steps. So I know exactly what you're saying. I'll hear agents on the phone say, "What do you mean you want to list your house at that price?" And they haven't even met face to face.
Right. Well, it goes to the whole thing. I mean, you can put yourselves in the consumer's shoes. A few things happen. I've never met a single person in my life that wakes up and says, you know what, it's a sunny day outside. I'm going to sell my home. Let's go find an agent. People don't do that. People start their research. They think, okay, well, first off, I need to know what my home is worth. Well, where are they going to find that out? Well, there's resources online, like websites, that may or may not give the proper estimate and it's automated.
You mean like...
I'm not saying words, but they may or may not go online and look for that value. Now, automated values sometimes are 100% correct, sometimes they're not. It's hard to judge, but when you have an agent that's actually giving you the value, you're getting more accurate information. But you also, as an agent, got to look at the consumer's mentality. When someone's online, they're on the internet. And when they're filling their personal information out online, the second they hit submit, there's a big brick wall that jumps up in front of them. And you as an agent, you've got a choice. You can run head first and try to knock that wall down with your head, which you're going to crack it open. Or you can chisel away at it and lower that wall to gain their trust. So taking a backseat approach to leads that you generated online is what's going to win every single time. Be consultative. Give information. Because if it's all about them and not all about you, you'll win. Because stats say 90% of consumers go with the first agent they're in contact with. Yet, they only go with the agent that's going to service them, not service themselves, if that makes any sense.
Perfect. It's heavy promo about them being the number one, or everything that they do and how they are in the market. It's about, okay, what are your goals as a seller? What are you looking to achieve? Why do you feel like you need to put your house on the market? Are you staying in town? A lot of times, the old Craig Proctor scripts I still think are great, because people will tell you because they're not comfortable, because like you said, that brick wall is there. People will say, oh, I'm not moving, I was just curious about the price of my home.
Right. And I'll tell you right now, those people that say, oh, I'm just curious, I want to know the price of my home, a lot of the time, actually, they're ready to list. They're ready to list 2 months, 3 months, 6 months down the road, but they don't know you from Joe. They don't know you from Sally. You've got to gain their trust. You've got to make them feel that you've got their best interest at heart rather than them making a commission check.
Right, I agree. So what do you feel is, the best way to be that first agent that they contact?
So, again, I'm relating to online lead generation. I mean, a lot of agents that I've talked to and worked with and helped go from online leads suck to, wow, this is gold. I guess it's the initial approach. I mean, when you get an online lead, you have to call that lead immediately, within 5 minutes, within 10 minutes, and try to get the consumer while they're still on the horn or still on the internet and researching. Now, a lot of the times, no, you won't get a hold of them, and you have to follow up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and it can be discouraging. You gotta have patience with the follow-up piece. But when you initially get a hold of that consumer, it's that friendly approach. Hey, Jenny, you know, I just noticed you're online looking for some information about the value of your home. I can definitely help you out with that. That may stand out, any additions that you've done. You guys have a swimming pool, anything extra that may up the value of your home. And let me get that information to you. And stop it at that. Don't go into what are their goals selling. Don't go into what are they trying to accomplish, because immediately them looking for information turns into you fact-finding. You're pretty much trying to do discovery on a sales pitch for yourself.
Right.
Supply the information to them. Now, another mistake a lot of agents do is they'll get online leads, and they'll think every single lead that comes through is going to be absolute gold. And I'll be the first person to tell you, 100% wrong. Online leads, you're going to get a lot of garbage, and you're going to get a lot of gold. So you've got to be patient enough to say, okay, well, this lead didn't turn out. Well, in 3 more hours, I'm going to have another one in my bucket. So patience is a huge, huge, huge thing when you're generating listings from online, because you're dealing with multiple consumers and consumers that have that guard. They're ready to box you and knock you out and say, get away from me. Take that soft, sweet, friendly approach, and you'll win.
Well, that's because they don't have a personal relationship. And
Right.
I think I read somewhere that, and it may actually have been a BoldLeads stat, where somebody got 267 leads, but they ended up putting 8 properties on the market. So
Right.
that's about how many you have to dig through when you are working with some of these online sources.
Right.
But Christopher, you know, what makes the difference between, oh, Matt, I can see you now.
And here I thought you guys froze up.
Oh, so what is the difference, Christopher, between, and please, you know, if you can't comment on different things, I completely understand, but, you know, what's the difference between like housevalues.com, realtor.com, you know, Zillow lead sources? I mean, do you know what the difference that these services provide?
Right. I do know. I do. Of course, there are opinionated differences. I'm going to tread lightly on where I go with this,
Yeah.
because I think all those companies are phenomenal companies. When I first started in this industry, I was actually at housevalues.com, you know, which turned into Market Leader, which turned into Trulia, which turned into Zillow. I've never worked for Realtor, but I've got friends all over the industry that may or may not work for other big names. So I've got some insight into what happens. Now, every company has their pluses and their negatives. Realistically, and I can truthfully say, being with BoldLeads, I have not found a negative with what we do. And the reason being is we're family owned, meaning the founders of this company are our mother and son. She's a previous realtor, and she was trying to find out, how do I generate more listings? I've used all these other services out there. What do I do? So she got together with her son, marketing genius. He went online, and literally overnight, her business exploded, and it turned around. Well, she decides, I want to go share this with the real estate industry. So she's got a vested interest in wanting to help people that are in the industry versus maybe a big corporation that's really out there to at the end just to generate revenue. And of course, every company has to generate revenue. But with BoldLeads company, we want you to be successful. If you're not successful, we're not successful. We don't grow as a company. You don't grow as a company. So we've got 2 choices. One, we can grab an agent and say, okay, we're going to sell you everything under the sun. Go have fun. Or we have the choice to say, you know, let's get someone the amount of leads that they need every month. Let's get someone the tools that they need to convert these leads. So with us at BoldLeads, not only are we filling a pipeline, we're not a magic pill. We're not a license to be lazy whatsoever. Okay? We're a long-term business building solution to help agents build a long-term business, because real estate, as we all know, does not happen overnight. And I'm sure Matt, Jenny, you'd both agree with that, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So at BoldLeads, rather than just generating leads for you, what we do is we go market online, and we're going after that consumer that's looking to find a value of their home. Now, is everybody looking to sell their home? No, not at all. And that's where the garbage comes in. But that garbage can turn into gold down the road if you nurture them correctly enough. So we go market online, and we drive consumers to pages to where they're going to fill out their information to get into a value of their home. So they fill out their address, they hit click, it takes them to a screen that has them fill out their basic information, name, address, phone number, maybe some timeline on selling, etc. And then once they hit submit, we're actually, as a company, going to reach out to the lead with a text message or an email saying a realtor is going to be in touch with you to give you the value of your home. Now, we're not just going to leave it at that. We're going to alert you as the agent saying you have a new lead in your queue, and that's when you come in and you pick up the phone and you call that lead and take that soft, friendly approach. You don't go bulldog them. Take that soft, friendly approach. Now, again, a lot of times you may not be able to get a hold of them. Sometimes you will. But as a backup, within our system, we have things called funnel setup, automated email campaigns, text campaigns that we can set up. So within 5 minutes of them filling their information, they're getting a personalized email from you as the agent. They think it's personalized, but it's actually coming from your system, saying, hey, we've got your request to get a value. I'll be reaching out to you shortly. 3 hours after that, they're getting another email saying, I'm working on the value of their home. Is there anything, additions, upgrades, anything special that should stand out? So we're giving you some tools on the back end that will automate things a little bit. But again, you as the agent have to keep following up with them. So not only are we going to give you leads of people that are looking for a value of their home, we're going to give you the tools as well. Full-blown CRM that allows you to set up campaigns, manage your leads, manage a pipeline. We also have daily coaching calls that people that are using BoldLeads can be part of. We've got a mastermind group where mastermind groups are great. It's a community of realtors that literally are wanting each other's success. You post a question on how to follow up with a lead, you're going to get answers from other agents as well as our team internally. Does that answer your question, Jenny?
And so how it works, Christopher, is that you pick out whichever zip code that you want, and if it's available, then you own that. You can have that marketing for that zip code, and you do online and social media marketing, right, for that zip code, and then you are sent those leads. And based on what you were telling me, it costs around $450 a month, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be dependent on how many zip codes, et cetera. Because yes, we do exclusive zip codes, and a lot of companies out there will claim that it's an exclusive zip code. Well, there's differences in exclusive zip codes. You can have an exclusive zip code where there's 10 agents in that zip code and the lead itself is exclusive. Or at BoldLeads, one agent only per zip code. So you're owning a whole territory. Now, what's even nicer about this is not only are you owning a territory and getting people that are filling their information about getting a value of their home, but Jenny, we generate 3 different types of leads here. We generate full leads, which is a consumer that goes on and fills out all of their information. We generate partial leads, which is pretty much the same thing as the full lead, but it might be missing a phone number, it might be missing an email address, etc. It's just that lead that wants a value that maybe is a little bit more shy, has a bigger wall. And then, this is my personal favorite, we also generate a ton of address captures. You were touching on earlier farming areas, knocking on doors, postcards, flyers. Well, how golden is it to have a list of addresses that are people that are actually raising their hand saying, hey, I want a value, but guess what? I don't trust the internet. You're going to save time knocking on doors. You're going to save money sending postcards and flyers out to the wrong homes. So we're going to basically build 3 different pipelines for you to build that long-term sustainable business, and then you'll have every tool in the book in order to follow up with it. And then for newer agents and seasoned agents that maybe are still adapting to this internet phase of life today, technology, we have full scripting built into our back-end system for pretty much anything you need. Do you need to know how to talk to a lead and how they conversate today? Okay, we've got that lined out for you. Do you need to know how to do X, Y, Z, or X, Y, Z? We have scripting built into our system to give you basically the roadmap to success. But the number one thing I would say, no matter what service you're using online, hopefully you're using BoldLeads, no matter what service you're using online, patience, 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 patience is your key. Because if you get impatient and think you're going to make your GCI go through the roof overnight in month 1, month 2 of internet leads, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you might want to not use internet. You got to have patience. Your return will happen, but only if you nurture leads, follow up with them, take the backseat approach, and know that my conversation today, 6 months, 7 months down the road, is going to make me a ton of money.
And listen, if you want a free demo with Christopher, then you can reach him at christopher@boldleads.com. Do you have another contact?
Yeah, so my direct line here as well is 480-771-3959.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you bringing your expertise to us, and I'm so glad that I got a chance to talk to you last week.
And Matt, it was great seeing you.
You too as well.
Yeah, if anybody needs any information, like Jenny said, Christopher, CHRISTOPHER, @boldleads.com, or you can call me directly at 480-771-3959. I really appreciate you guys having me, and you guys are doing great things, and I wish all the agents that are listening success. Regardless if we do business together or not, I wish you success.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
So some of our clients are using the new Zillow seller resource, and right now they're not really big fans of it yet. Some of our clients that are receiving listings from Zillow are because they have so many reviews out there, and it's just kind of like a natural place for them to go to when consumers see, wow, they have 60 reviews,
Yeah.
And then they end up being the agent that gets called. Are you seeing that a lot too?
Well, yeah. In fact, that's so one of the guys that has the top number of reviews on Zillow, Jorn Force, here in Temecula, which is about an hour outside of San Diego. I think he has something like, just hundreds. I don't remember what the actual number is, but he focused on that as a strategy. So not only is he paying Zillow for leads, but he's also just making sure on the back end that before they close, when they're kind of at that highest rate of the highest point of satisfaction with their service, they look for that like emotional high point, and then they go in for the kill and ask for the testimonial right there. So they're really good. Yeah, they don't wait until after closing. They don't, I see so many agents, posting on Facebook groups like, hey, I want to send an email out asking for somebody to leave me a testimonial on Zillow, and it's like, it's after closing, like you've already lost them. Like it's just, so do it before closing. But yeah, success breeds success. So the more testimonials that you have on there, the more you're able to present yourself, and Zillow presents you as an agent that's to be trusted. But even if you can't get the reviews on Zillow themselves, there's other ways to get them, and then you can put those testimonials into autoresponders like we talked about. You can put them together into like a FedEx package.
Yeah.
And send them, or I was talking about this with my other podcast co-host, Greg McDaniel. What he'll do is he'll take a FedEx envelope. He won't actually FedEx it. He just gets extra envelopes, and then he'll stick his brochure and a bunch of testimonials inside and drop it off if somebody asks for a home value report, and he'll drop that FedEx envelope outside their door.
See, this is an example of one that we have, and of course now it says something like Christy sells a house every 7 days, but inside goes her testimonials with her client photos, because people love to see faces. They want to know that stuff is for real,
Yep.
And it's funny that you say that, because we're going to be talking about how to get testimonials on Thursday.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you're interested in that class and you want to know more, just reach out to me through email, and I'll send you a link to that. We're live streaming that. It's Jenny, GENNY, at GetARealEstateLife.com. But that is a huge tip, is ask for that referral before closing. You know, this past Saturday, I went to gun training for hours. And the man who happened to be our trainer, fascinating man, he asked me what I did for a living, and he said that he would never recommend his agent again. And it was somebody I trained.
Oh, that's not good. Oh.
And I was devastated. And I said, I'm sorry, it has to be my fault because I trained him. And he said, no, he did a fabulous job marketing. He did a fabulous job pricing. He did everything right in presentation. What he didn't do was the day before closing, let me know when the people were coming to do a walkthrough, after I had called the office 3 different times to ask for it to be scheduled. So you're right. If you waited till closing,
yeah,
you would have gotten an awful testimonial.
Yeah, because one little miscommunication is all it takes.
And you know, this agent is spells hundreds of houses a year. So they were already on to the next situation. They weren't worried about this one. And so I know, and I know why and how it happened. But
yeah.
You're so right. That's what's so important. I mean, Matt made a great point. So thank you about that. I want to talk about a couple of other ones because we have just a few more minutes. Realtor.com. You know, I get mixed reviews for that, and it's all based on, I think, the zip code that you own. Do not spend your money on banner ads. That is really not where you need to be, and they do an excellent job of selling you that.
It's basically just branding advertising, right?
Right. And I mean, there's so many other ways. If you want to do some branding, there's so many other ways that you can do it that's very inexpensive, that you want to be on more than just realtor.com. Yeah. So we'll put that over here, like in your AdWorks and, you know, some of those other resources, which are great tools. And every tool is great if you know exactly what you're getting with it and what to expect with your exposure, and how it, you know, mixes with everything else, because you can't do one thing. You have to have a couple of, you can't do everything either. So you have to have the right mix. And it's all based on what you want to achieve, of course. But, you know, housevalues.com is another resource that is out there, that, you know, some people have excellent results with it. And really, it's just a tool. You have to do the advertising and put it out there, but it is the tool for the landing page in order for people to be able to click on it for you to provide that information. You can kind of duplicate those things too, because you can create your own landing pages. We create our own landing pages for a lot of our clients. We have a client on the Gulf Coast that we are creating landing pages for her that are all about the best beach buys. And, you know, that helps her build a list and gives her information on who, you know, wants beach property, lets her be able to reach out and follow up with those people. You can do the same thing in niches, and you can do that actually by using lead pages. And I'm a huge fan of lead pages, and you can even take a look at Drew, who works with us. He just found, that's okay, I can be real estate uncensored too. You can take a look at a course they have just for real estate agents on creating your own landing pages through leadpages.com. So it's a free course that you can download, and you can find out a lot of information about that. And then it's up to you to be able to get it out through email and through social media. And I believe you can even do Google Click campaigns through that as well. So really good stuff with them. Yeah. Okay, so Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. Right? We love Facebook ads. And what you said earlier is that Jeff Cohn team, you know, the 30 agents they have, were placing ads with their house and the link to their Boomtown site, yep, for promoting that listing. But that's how they were getting a lot of leads coming in, right?
Yeah. So in other words, what they determined is that it was agents posting their own boosted posts on Facebook about specific listings with some sort of unique picture of the listing that's a little bit atypical, so it wasn't just like a front-on photo of the house. It was something a little bit different. Anyway, that was one of their lowest cost sources of leads.
Okay. Love you for saying that, because as we pull out more and more information, we find the key there. Not the atypical front-on exterior photo of the house, because boring.
Exactly. It looks like a stock photograph. And there's sometimes the better the photograph is, the more it just looks like you pulled something off of Google Images.
Right. And there's a place for Google Images, but people are on Facebook because they're looking for a personal connection. They're looking for emotional, to validate emotions that they have within themselves. They connect with their friends. They connect with family. They are jealous because of their friends are, doing all these awesome things, or they're mad at some political thing. Facebook is all about connecting and being emotional. So when you go and you put a front-on face exterior of a house and you talk about this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, it's so boring. It's just going to get like, if it gets clicked on, you're not going to get a response. What you're really looking for, and
you end up spending the money, but you get nothing for it.
Yeah, and you can still get clicks, and it will go through. But what do you really want? You want people to feel so emotional about whatever it is that your message is that they contact you privately. And you know how my message burns up on Facebook. I constantly get private messages, and yeah, of course I get weird ones, but I'm talking about the good ones. That, hey, I saw where you posted this. I'm really having struggles here and I need help with that. That's what you want as far as a buyer and a seller. So you want to try to evoke an emotional response and have your listing, your link to get to your listing to find out more information in the copy. But you want to first grab people's attention through that headline and an emotional evoking photo. What in the crap am I talking about? I'll give you an idea. Had a meeting with one of our agents last week, and we're putting this together for her this week. She has a house for sale right now. That's really a good first-time home buyer house, but probably a great place for that first kid with maybe one on the way, or even a bachelor. I said, what would be great is to see, does it have a fenced backyard? And she said, yeah, it does. And I said, we need a toddler playing in the backyard to show how safe that is. And people love babies and puppies. So you got to give people what they want. That's marketing 101 until you lead them to what they need.
Okay.
So you have a toddler playing in the back, and you're talking about how much fun that backyard is, and how it's safe because it has, a privacy fence or whatnot. Then I'm probably going to want to know more, and I'm going to be in that target market. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. That, or maybe you have one, and Kimberly and I used to play around with this, where the husband is carrying the wife over a threshold. And, that just evokes so many emotions that people kind of want to know more about that. What is that lifestyle going to be like to live there? That's where, that's what you want for people to cause a great reaction, because again, it's all about, it's connecting. Yeah. Okay, so we've got like 5 more minutes. So I talk fast anyway, and now I'm on super speed.
We just hit the lightning round?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is another company called Offers. I don't know if you've heard about it, Matt, but it's OFFRS.
Okay.
And they use a lot of data tracking, and they use direct mail, and they use back-end sites, a little bit like the Listing Grabber, but they are more specific on fewer houses in certain neighborhoods based on statistical data. So you can kind of check them out, see, if that would be something that interests you in your business. If you want to work expireds, there are a couple of ways that you can work expireds. You can subscribe to RedX. Do me a favor and do not go to RedX. That would not be good for you. You can go to Vulcan 7. I've accidentally told people to go there, and it was not good.
No, I think it's theredx.com if I remember right.
Okay. Oh, it's an excellent tool. Is all the stuff correct on it? No, not for any site, but they do scrub the do not call list for you. They check for sale by owners and for expireds, and they give you scripts and tools for you to be able to pursue that. I have an agent right now in a small town that is just doing really well with it. And Matt, I'm sure you've heard of Vulcan 7.
Mm-hmm.
So another tool that is out there to help people.
Yeah, and actually I was talking with Jeff Cohn about this just 2 weeks ago. We did a hangout where he broke down like the results of, he's experimented with all three, and at least for his market, he found that Vulcan 7 was the most accurate information, had the most information as well. And then RedX was behind that, but Mojo had the easiest dialer, so you can make more calls. So you have to tinker with it a little bit, but I think it sounds, from what I've heard from other agents across the country, that's a pretty typical response. Like RedX is okay, Vulcan 7 is a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? And then Mojo is somewhere in the middle, depending on your area.
Love it. Okay, you have just gotten a ton of tools today. Remember your sphere. If you have zero money to start marketing, and now we've gone through all these resources, and you've heard me say $500 a month, $1,000 for some, $450, and you're like, Jenny, I just want some listings. I don't have any money. Then go to your sphere of influence, because they're going to be the ones out on the street passing your name every single day. That's going to be your gold, and it's free. So, Matt, thank you as always.
I don't know how much help I was today with the internet giving us some issues, but thank you. I didn't see any questions come up necessarily on the page here, but just keep in mind, guys, that's why we do these live, is so that you can ask questions and we can bring them to the guests right when we're on. So keep that in mind for next time. You can submit them as questions. But yeah, with that, what do you say we send this one home?
That sounds good. And listen, if you want a free copy of all of the resources I went over today, I'm happy to provide that to you. Just email me at Jenny, GENNY, at getarealestatelife.com.
And then what's your class that you're teaching later today?
Well, I taught one earlier this morning. It was how to create cash triggers in your business. Tomorrow, we're going over how to read profit and loss and create profit and loss statements in your business. Wow, something for real estate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What? We make profit and we have losses?
Well, and it'll also help you go straight into taxes with that. And Wednesday, I'm going to be teaching for one of the #1 companies in a different city. And then Thursday, I'm teaching how to get really wonderful testimonials from your clients and make it systematic so that you do it every single time. And I'm going to be providing some resources for that, as well as rolling out all the March marketing templates that we provide as a company to our clients, and ideas for you to reach out and touch somebody.
Very cool.
That's my Diana Ross plug since I saw her Friday.
I've seen that on Facebook. I chuckled to myself. All right, that's an interesting I can't picture you at that concert, but okay. All right. Well, hopefully people get in contact with you about the classes and so forth, and then we'll be back on the second Monday of next month with a special guest as well.
All right. Thanks so much, Matt, and thanks for tuning in.